Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we're about to lose a cruise port on the east coast of the United States. That's right, there's a port closing permanently. No more embarking, disembarkation. We also have a lawsuit coming out from basically the Carnival cruise line, but it's based around P&O Cruise Line, one of their owned cruise ship companies, and they are about 110 passengers suing that cruise line. We'll find out why. We also have Carnival being asked exactly what is supposed to be going on in the Serenity adult-only area. Is it meant for peace and quiet, or is it basically just 21 and older and you can still make as much noise and party as you want? And we have some more travel advisories out for the Caribbean. However, this is nothing related to violence. It's all about weather. So that's right, we're about to lose a cruise port in Charleston, South Carolina. Currently it's home to the Carnival Sunshine, and it does sail pretty much at capacity most of the time. So why, if it's being so popular and a good destination, you don't have to go to the big cruise ports like Miami and Fort Lauderdale and New York to get on a cruise ship and just go away for short cruises, 3 and 4 and 5 night cruises? Well, it's closing. Basically, the town council said they're not going to renew the port for embarkation and disembarkation. It's not going to be a home port anymore. They have been trying to renovate the terminal there. It's basically an old warehouse, but because of historical significance and things like that, there's been numerous lawsuits and interruptions to stop them from doing that. They were trying to move it over to Mount Pleasant, which would alleviate a lot of the traffic and congestion because the cruise port's located right downtown in South Carolina, Charleston. But so by moving it to Mount Pleasant, it would have been easier, but they're facing an uphill battle from the mayors and town council there saying that they don't want to have a cruise ship porting in that vicinity. So as of right now, they have no place to go, and at the end of 2024, it is no longer going to be a U.S. port for cruise ships, home porting. We're actually losing one, not gaining one. Next, we also have a travel advisory update from the U.S. State Department. No, it's not regarding Haiti. Haiti is still a level 4 do not travel. Despite that, we still know that Royal Caribbean is still going there, and fingers crossed so far, nothing has happened. That's good news. But they've now issued advisories earlier this month for Grenada, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, and it's not due to any kind of potential danger or crime level or anything like that in the area. It's because the areas are still really recovering from the hurricane season this year, and a lot of the facilities still aren't up and running. So you may, have less excursions that you could do. There could be less hospital or medical facilities available if you get injured. The roads could be not passable. The water could still be contaminated, etc., going on in that area. It's only a level 1, but they thought people should know that these things are going on, and you may want to rethink if you're getting off a cruise ship in those areas anytime soon. It still would be good to get off if you could, to help support the economy and the people who are there who are still going through the hurricane and recovery process there. Any little bit of income and extra spending that we do there certainly would help the population recover a little bit faster. Next, we have P&O Cruise Line that earlier this year, they had numerous cruise ships that came down with norovirus. And in fact, at one point, it's reported that on a sailing out of Southampton on May 11th, 2024, there was up to 519 passengers were taken ill during that cruise. And there is now a class action lawsuit against P&O Cruise Line and Carnival Cruise Line, the owner of P&O Cruise Lines. and saying that, they should have been aware of this situation. Now, the compensation they're asking for is a range of damages, including medical expenses, and I like this one. This one is a lawyer made up one. Diminished vacation value, time off from work for recovering after returning home from your trip. And we all know you can get sick at a resort, you can get sick at Disney, you can get sick in an all-inclusive, you can get sick on a cruise line. Did the cruise line do what they could to resolve the situation? They had numerous deep cleanings. In fact, at one sailing, they asked passengers to disembark so they can clean everything out there. They instituted more hands-off approach in the buffet. So it seems like they did what most cruise lines will do in this situation. They just couldn't seem to end this contamination that kept on spreading from ship to ship, like sailing to sailing. And at one point, the cruise line had reported that they had 1% of the passengers were ill, but the cruise port itself actually reported the medical situation at over 12% of the passengers on board. That's a very significant difference, right? Now, over in Europe, they don't have to report those findings to the CDC, etc., but the class action lawsuit is now going forward, and the lawyer themselves saying that they're hoping that Carnival will respond to this in a timely manner as a show of goodwill and good faith in customer service, and that they care about their clients. That's kind of like, hey, make us an offer. It almost seems like, right? Hey, make us an offer. We know if we go to court, we have a harder battle to do. It's going to be expensive, and we have to prove negligence, etc. And we don't know if we can do that. But hey, if you make us an offer, we might just go away. And a lot of times, big corporations will do these offers and just close the door and say non-disclosure, etc. to what happened. But in a lot of cases, they don't want to set a precedent and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we were guilty of this, and for any future lawsuits to Carnival Corporation, we just admitted that we were wrong in that. So chances are they'll probably fight this all the way in court and do their best to get rid of this lawsuit. It's always an uphill battle to prove negligence to any company in any situation, especially one that has in their contracts, and it's as fleeting as people end up getting sick. Well, did they clean everything? Yes, they did. Did they pass safety? Yes, they did. Did they pass a CDC inspection? Yes, they did. Makes it harder to prove, right? So we'll see what happens with this lawsuit going forward. And next I have a passenger basically asking what Carnival actual adult-only area is all about. But before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you want to keep up to date with everything going on in cruising, from travel warnings to cruise ports that are closing, to new ships coming online, to all the experiences, and hopefully will give you just a little bit more knowledge going into your next cruise, and maybe even save you some frustration and even a little money in the process. I really hope you'll join us. It doesn't cost anything. Really does help the channel out though when you leave a like, a comment, and make that subscribe button. And again, I really do appreciate it. Okay, so let's talk about the passenger who wrote into John Hield asking about the Serenity Deck on Carnival Pride. Now, when you hear the word Serenity, you think peace, quiet, relaxation, right? In fact, in all the Carnival advertisements that you'll see out there, it's always a couple sitting by the ocean looking out at the ocean, somebody relaxing by the pool, having a cocktail in the sunshine, just sunning themselves. At nowhere in their advertisements do you see big groups of people drinking and carrying on and being loud or noisy or anything like that. But apparently one guest said that they had this exact thing happen. She wrote in to John Hield. Just wondering, is the Serenity Deck supposed to be a serene area, or does it just mean a space for those over 21? Last week on the Carnival Pride to Bermuda, there was a group of baby boomers, obviously with the drink package, who were anything but serene. They were loud, obnoxious, dropping F-bombs, and I ended up leaving the Serenity Deck because of them. This was perplexing to John Heald because he kind of didn't know how to respond. And he did say, well, it is an adult-only deck and perhaps it doesn't have the right name. I don't know anymore. It's a shame that some people do get boisterous, but at the same time, they're having fun, which is what we advertise for them to do. And it's a very difficult question to answer. Well, maybe then they need to change the name. Stop calling it Serenity. Stop calling it Peaceful. You know, stop advertising it as that. Start just advertising it as an adult-only area and maybe call it the Plus 21 Club or something. But yeah, all your advertising does show peace, calm, tranquility. And it certainly sometimes does not necessarily mean the name when they're up there. Other guests wrote in their comments and saying that she should have gone to the employees up there and said something and have them say something to the loud people. Well, apparently she did go to talk to some of the cruise employees on the Serenity Deck, and they really didn't do anything about it. And other people said, well, you really shouldn't talk to the people working up there. It's pretty hard for a crew member who has to work up there all the time to deal with these people. They're not trained for that. She should have gone to security. And I'll disagree with that one. She should not have to go to security. If there's being disruptive passengers on board, and they're deemed to be that, then the crew members should have just called down to security and said, hey, can you come up and keep an eye on this situation, please, before it might escalate. Because you don't want passengers going over and telling other passengers to be quiet, because that's how things escalate. And that's how fights break out on Carnival cruise lines. So I'll disagree with that one. You tell a crew member or a couple of crew members, and they should be contacting the security, even if it's just to keep an eye on the situation. They can come up and say, you know what? They're not being that loud. They're not being that boisterous. They're not being that, that person's just a little too picky. But at least monitor the situation. And if you say, hey, yeah, they're just shouting and yelling and they're getting drunk and they're being obnoxious to all the other passengers around them, then the security is there to step in. In the meantime, maybe start thinking of some new names for your peaceful Serenity adult-only deck. Well, let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think? Do you think, yeah, Serenity, naming it that, and when you think of adult-only area, you think of quiet, peaceful Serenity area to get away from everything, right? You don't think that you want to be sitting beside a bunch of loud, drunk people, right? You want calm and peace. Normally, that's what the situations are. Hopefully, they can get this solved in one way or another. But again, it's not the crew member, it's not the guest, but hey, notify security and have them at least monitor the situation, even if you need to hire more security from the billions of dollars we're making every year in cruising. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.